Hello, Nadia.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to chat today about a thought I had and share with our listeners about living in San Francisco versus living in Boston.
Well, I've never lived in San Francisco.
To people listening from wherever, it's like you're from San Francisco because
True.
you grew up 20 minutes south. But anyway, specifically, I spent a bunch of time in San Francisco yesterday
Mhm.
with your Uncle Mikey, and we're talking about how we love our city. But sometimes when we travel to other places, they think it's like crazy in San Francisco. It's going to be like Gotham City. I don't know. I don't know. What kind of news are you getting in Boston about what it's like to live in San Francisco? Or are you getting that kind of crazy news?
Yes, but I was like a while ago. Not so much recently. Obviously, homelessness is a big problem and like drug use and all of that. So, I feel like the news can sometimes not necessarily over exaggerate it, but make that seem like that's the only thing that's happening in San Francisco. I guess in comparison, I don't get that a lot with Boston, apart from like the one street that I live next to. But other than that, it just the homelessness is condensed to that one area. And whereas in San Francisco, I feel like the news always is it's just everywhere and it's horrible, it smells bad, and everyone's it's unsafe, all that. Which could be the case in some places, but I don't necessarily feel that way when I go there.
Yeah, it's definitely not as clean as it used to be as far as there's just like poop on the sidewalks from I don't know if
Yeah.
it's from humans or from dogs. So you have to look
Right.
down when you're walking sometimes in certain neighborhoods. And there is a lot of homelessness. But I was telling your Uncle Mikey, who hadn't been to Boston, has never been to Boston, how sometimes when I go to Boston, I feel sad for San Francisco because Boston is just like San Francisco as far as being by the water, small city, but it's
Mhm.
way cleaner and feels just generally safer. But even that being said, you're having a definite city problem. And I just wanted you to share
Yeah.
your experience with our listeners.
Yeah, we're gonna do this as a city problem. I think this could happen to me in any place I was living, but we're having a mouse problem. Not very abnormal for Boston. I've had a lot of other friends had to deal with some things like this. It's just really annoying that it's in our apartment. And I'm usually the one that's home alone with the mouse.
Are you home alone the most because your roommates all have significant others or because they have family that's nearby? Or why are you the one that's home alone?
I think a combination of those two. Honestly, this time of the year, it's Easter this weekend, so all my roommates are home, and then they do have significant others, so they could go to their place, and then also we've all just been busy. I think like I've just been I don't know I've been home more often, but it was also finals week, so it was just like I couldn't go anywhere anyways.
So, how many mice have you seen in your house?
Seen, I think we've caught two, and I'm pretty sure we've seen four, unless it's like different ones. It's gross, and I hate being around it. It's coming from our kitchen, so I blocked it off. But I opened my door the other day to my room when the kitchen wasn't blocked off, and there was a mouse there, and then it like jumped, and then I slammed the door, and then it went away. But because I'm like right next to the kitchen, it's like only really a me problem. So the mouse has gone down the hallway, but not only once.
Okay, how did you catch the mouse? The two mice
We
that you
had two different traps.
were they alive when you
Um,
caught them?
One of them, yes, and the other one, no.
So then what do you do?
We had to dispose of it either way.
So tell me, what did you do then?
We threw it away.
Like you picked up the mouse trap with the mouse and Threw
put
it
it
in the
in a
garbage.
bag.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you have to release it from its trap?
No, because it was dead.
And what did you do with the alive mouse?
It was stuck to a glue trap, so can't really help it. So it probably died in the dumpster.
Oh, poor mice. They're just trying to live
I
their
mean,
life.
yeah, but I don't know. It's just really annoying because we tried to have it get fixed a couple times and it's just like nobody really wants to do anything. Gonna have to call an exterminator.
Has your landlord been helpful?
No. Yes and no. Mainly no. I guess there's not much they can do, but they dismissed it for a while, so it was just really annoying to have to email so many times. And yeah, I don't know. It's just really annoying.
Did you learn anything about tenant rights at all? Is there something that you can do as far as complaining and maybe getting money back, or I don't know, making them acknowledge that they should have responded faster? Because it is a safety issue.
I don't know. I have no clue. I can report them, but it's just too much work. And no, none of us really want to do that. It
Because
just
you've
needs
been
to
dealing
get
with this for
done.
what, 5 months?
Only really these past 2 weeks, but like the first time we saw a mouse was in January.
And they didn't
But
do
like
anything about
just
it.
no, they didn't do anything about it. And then we also didn't see one again. And then these last 2 weeks we've seen a bunch. So it's a new problem.
The other thing as mother that freaked me out was there was a headline on my news about 3 people in California. One of them, at least one of them was in his 20s, who died from hantavirus. And this is a virus that people can get if they're exposed to mice droppings. And I started to think about, okay, what kind of danger are you in living with mice? That being said, I feel like a lot of people live with mice. Like maybe this
Yeah.
hantavirus thing isn't that common, but because I mean, for sure, all around the world, there are people living with mice all the time. And I know that in college, when I moved out of one of my apartments, my bed was backed up against the fireplace. And when we moved the bed, there was so much rat, or not rat, I don't know, mouse, rat, poop in the fireplace. Like we were literally living
Yeah.
with
I
a bunch.
We have it was like behind our fridge, but we did have pest control come and they like closed up the holes, which like we've seen mice after that, so either they didn't or like they're trapped behind the hole. But there was a lot of like mouse droppings behind our fridge, but other than that, we haven't really seen like much like in our kitchen and stuff.
It's not like in your food or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not in our food either. It's not in our cabinets.
Because I think
It's
if
just
you
on our
touch,
floor.
like you could get sick touching mouse poop or mouse urine, like
Right, but we're
ingesting.
not touching it because there is none.
When you move the mouse in their traps, did you wear gloves?
I didn't move it.
Who
I
did it?
just took one of my roommates did.
Which
One of my other
one?
friends took another one. But we just
Which of
put
your
it in a
roommates did it?
bag. Elizabeth put it in a box and my other friend took the glue trap down. But we just put it in a bag and threw it away.
I feel sad for the mouse. They were cute.
These other ones are not very cute, so it's just annoying.
Okay, so is it over? Is the problem over?
No, it's not over. I don't know. Our kitchen is blocked off, so I'm not quite sure what to do next, but I'm leaving in 2 weeks, so it's not really my problem anymore.
But you do have subleasers coming.
Yeah, so that's why we have to call an exterminator.
I have a friend that I was telling a friend about your issue, and she said that a mouse died inside her walls. because they used to be able to, they never saw a mouse in the house, but they could hear running, little pitter patter of their feet. And then it started to stink inside their house. So one of them
Yeah.
must have died in the walls. And no one, what are you supposed to do about that? They don't know exactly
Yeah.
where it is. So it just died, and then it was stinky, and then eventually it went away.
Yeah, I haven't had that, thankfully. I don't know. It's just, it's not rats, it's mice. So, I don't know. I had a friend that had a rat in her apartment that was eating her tampons. So,
Like
and it
the
was
clean
big,
one or the dirty ones?
the clean ones.
Why would they eat a tampon?
Like, it would just eat through the box. And it was a big one. So, at the end of the day, like, it's not that. And the walls, the holes in our walls are not big enough for that. And supposedly they closed it. So, I don't know.
They closed it, but there's still another mouse inside your place.
Yeah, and yeah, it's honestly been too many to count. And so I've just been like playing music really loud because like that only really comes out when nobody's either in the kitchen or nobody's home or someone's on the couch, but like just sitting there. You know what I mean? Like they don't come out when there's a lot of people there. So I just play music, especially since I've been home alone recently. I DoorDashed food last night because I didn't want to go in the kitchen. Also, I didn't have food, but I didn't want to cook in the kitchen because I didn't want to be with the mouse.
You could collect them and have little pets.
No. They're also like not they just run away, so it's not like I could catch them.
Have you ever seen a cockroach in your house?
No, but we've seen those like centipedes, the like
Mm.
scary centipedes, but not cockroaches. I think it's just been different. This is honestly going back to when we were talking about like homelessness and stuff. It's just been so cold recently. So one, there's not many people on the streets because they can't be on the streets because it's so cold. I don't know where they go, but they can't go on the streets because it's freezing. And done with bugs, I don't know. The windows are never opened. Like all of that. But my roommate did have like some like liquid dropping from her ceiling. And then her mom came over and was like, if there's water in your ceiling, like that's going to attract mice. And I'm like, I don't. It took them a whole month to come and check out our mouse problem. Or sorry, 3 months after our first mouse to come investigate the new mice sightings. So I don't really think they're going to fix our ceiling.
That is a hard
Like, that
part
does
about
not seem
being.
in the realm of things that they're willing to do.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I guess, about one of the hard parts about being a young person with not a lot of means, renting a house. But even actually, you don't even have to be young. But part of it is you being young, trying to get the attention of the landlord. Like sometimes your landlord's not going to pay attention to you, maybe because you're young. Plus, you don't have the means to just fix it yourself. Plus, you don't own the place, so you don't want to fix it yourself. That's rough.
Yeah,
But
that is rough.
but I do think that you guys should learn a little bit about tenant rights because, and maybe we'll bring somebody in to talk about it because that is a responsibility of the landlord. I know it's tough to be a landlord these days because the increasing costs of everything, but technically it's a business. They're making money. They're not doing you a favor, even though I feel like in Boston or in the other college towns, they think they're doing you a favor. But yeah, so you're paying to use their space and they are receiving a profit. So they should use some of that to keep the place livable and safe. That's their responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. If we had looked at this place that the apartment we're renting from, like the property man or whatever it's called, ahead of time, like they have 2 stars on Google. So I don't know. But our realtor, I know he doesn't really have that much of a say. He just knows the people that we're renting from. He's been really helpful. If we add him into any emails or anything like that, he'll also email, and then they get mad because they don't want him to email them. But he's been pretty good at trying to get things moving for us. But
Yeah, because that's his reputation too. He put you guys in this place.
yeah. So yeah, that's just been something we've been dealing with recently. But I don't know.
All right. I will see if we can find somebody that can get on here and talk to us either about the dangers of living with mice. Maybe there aren't that many. Or tenant rights, or both.
Yeah, maybe that'd be nice.
All right. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.